Hello there, Tina. Are you there? I just had to talk with you about something rather quickly if you had the time. You do know about the family vacation that we're all going to be going on soon, don't you? I was just curious if you were actually thinking that you were going to be coming along with us. I guess what I'm really trying to ask is that you don't really think that you're a part of this family, do you? Because if you do, then I really just think that you need to wake up and face the real world. You are a nobody to us. You're nothing. And you are certainly not, nor will you ever be a member of this family.
Hello, Rachel. It's just so lovely to hear from you. Thank you so much for double-checking my schedule. Yes, I was, in fact, thinking of going on the trip, if you must know. After all, you were all going to go in our car, isn't that right?
Yes, we were going to use your car, but I don't see why you think that that gives you a right to come along with us. I mean, do you really need to tag along?
Well, it's been a long, long time since my husband and I have gotten to take a trip. But I remember that Dan mentioned wanting to stop at a nice brewery that was going to be on the way and asked if I wouldn't mind driving so he could drink a little. So actually, another reason why I was going along is to make sure that everyone can have safe, responsible fun. You actually have nothing to worry about, you see. I'll be the one driving.
Oh, please. What kind of stupid little excuse is that? Is that really the best you can come up with? You think you deserve to go with us just because you can drive? Anybody can drive, you know?
Sorry, did you even read the other messages I sent? Or did you just zero in on the bit that you didn't want to hear?
Don't you get smart with me, young lady. I just want you to realize that you are not a part of our family and you never ever will be. So quit trying to force your way into this vacation when you don't even belong. Don't you understand how rude you're being?
I really don't think that I'm being rude at all. If anything, you're the one trying to put me down and make me feel bad. But I'm afraid if you're not really going to change your mind about me at all, then all I can ask that you do is just have the patience to see the trip through to the very end. After all, it isn't like we all go on trips all the time together or something.
Well, of course we don't all take trips together more often. Who in their right mind would want to go anywhere with you, huh?
I fully understand what you're saying right now, Rachel. I have my own thoughts on the matter as well. But I don't think that we should be having this conversation via text. Maybe we could meet in person and talk? Because otherwise, I'm going to pick you all up in the car tomorrow at the time we all agreed on.
I just don't get what my little Dan was thinking. I mean, what drove him to marry a no-good, nasty woman like yourself? Not only is your personality awful, but you're older than him as well. I mean, you must have so much patience in dealing with you. You know, he used to date gorgeous women who were younger than him and knew how to show respect to their mother-in-law. Maybe if he had married one of them instead of you, then I would finally have a grandchild by now.
Sorry, are you talking about the ex-girlfriend that Dan had who stole all of his money and then ran away?
I don't really know all the details of why they broke up, so don't go quizzing me about my own son's love life. All I'm saying is that my son would be much, much, much better off with a woman who was younger than him.
If all that matters is age, then I guess that means I'm better for Dan than you are, isn't that right? Or am I misunderstanding the point that you're trying to make here?
Of course, that wasn't what I was trying to say, and you know that. Ugh. You really can be such a frustrating person to deal with, do you know that? I knew that I should have never ever allowed my son to marry someone like you.
Oh, I know exactly what you meant, but would you like to know how? It's because you've complained about my age to me over and over again. I mean, aren't you bored of having this same conversation all the time? I don't even need to guess at what you might say next, because we've already done this several times.
And I'll say it as many times as I need to for you to get it through your head that you were too old for my son and that you were never going to be a part of this family. If you don't want to hear the truth about the matter, then you can just pack up your bags and leave. Otherwise, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you're at the very end.
The very end? What are you talking about now? The very end of what?
The very end of your wits, of course. And then you and Dan will finally get a divorce and I can start working on trying to set this family straight again. That's all I really want out of this.
So basically you're telling me that your whole purpose with treating me this poorly is just to get me to divorce Dan? Well, I don't know how many times we're going to have this conversation in that case. But if you are going to be saying the same things over and over again, then so will I. And I am telling you for the I don't even know how many time that Dan and I aren't getting a divorce, okay? So don't bother waiting, don't hold your breath, and don't think that any kind of miracle is going to happen for you.
Well, we'll just see about that, won't we? I wouldn't be so confident if I were you.
Well, I don't need confidence when I know that Dan and I have no intention of splitting up ever. I just know it won't happen. Anyways, if this is all that you're going to be saying to me now, I think I've had my fill and I'll be taking my leave now. I'll see you tomorrow when I go to pick you up with Dan. Hey, you were standing right behind me, weren't you? I know that it was you behind me in line. You pushed me into the bathroom and were holding the door closed so that I couldn't get out?
What on earth are you talking about? I didn't do anything, dear. But I guess it was bad fortune that someone just let that big, heavy crate slide right in front of the bathroom door, trapping you in there. But at least you won't have to worry about needing to use the toilet since you're going to be stuck there for a long, long time.
What is the matter with you, Rachel? Is this supposed to be some kind of prank or something? Because it isn't funny. What are you trying to pull here?
Well, isn't it obvious? I was just locking you in the bathroom, that's all. I sure hope someone comes by soon to let you out of there, though.
I don't get it. Why would you do this to me? I mean, Dan and I go to pick you up in the morning so that we can all enjoy going on a little vacation together, and you lock me in the bathroom? Are you really just going to try and keep me trapped here while you just drive away? Do you really think that you're going to get away with this? You've gone way too far right now.
I think the only person that was taking things too far was you. I told you that you were not welcome to come on this family vacation of ours, and you just didn't listen. But now at least we'll finally be able to enjoy ourselves in peace, without you.
Well, I'm so happy that you're pleased with yourself right now. But just how long do you think that happiness is going to last? Hold on a second. Why can't I get a hold of Dan? Why won't he pick up my calls?
Well, that's because I told him that I'd hold on to his phone for him, of course. And then I'm going to tell him that you told me that you had an emergency come up. And I'll tell Dan all about how you had to leave early and called a taxi to come and pick you up. And then we can get on with our vacation and you can have fun waiting for someone to rescue you from the toilet.
Are you kidding me? Please tell me that you're not serious about that. Have you guys already left? Did you really just abandon me here?
That's right. We're on the road far, far away from you now. So your fate is out of our hands now. I just hope that someone comes along soon to let you out. Otherwise, you could be in there all night.
So you're sure that it's a good idea to just leave me here then? Is that really what you want to do?
Of course, that's what I want to do. What kind of question even is that? I thought I made it clear that I didn't want you coming on this trip at all.
All right, then fine. Have it your way. But just don't say that I didn't warn you. I hope you both get where you need to be safely.
Dana, are you there? I really have something that I need to talk to you about right now. Where are you? Please tell me.
Let me guess. Things went exactly as I thought they would for you. I heard all about how maybe an hour after you left me, you got on the freeway and ended up in a huge accident. I just hope this serves to teach you a lesson about what you did.
But where is everyone right now? Where are you? Where's Dan? Is Dan okay?
Dan is fine, actually. You were the one who sustained the worst of the injuries. But honestly, just what were you thinking? I mean, you realized that there wasn't anybody else to drive, right? I was coming along because I would have been the only other person capable of driving. But then you just had to go and pull your little prank and put our family in danger in the process. Tell me though, was it worth it?
You have no idea what you're talking about at all. I was in the car. I know how to drive.
Oh, really? Do you? Because if you did know how to drive, then just how did you all end up in that accident then, huh? I mean, you're lucky that you got away with just having your hip broken. You could have lost your life. Don't you realize that? You were acting like a complete idiot, and lo and behold, something bad happened to you.
What did you just call me? How dare you say that to me when I'm the one who got in an accident? I mean, sure, it had been maybe a decade since I last ever drove, but still, a car is a car and I know how to drive. I just didn't think that there'd be so many other cars. And I forgot how fast you have to go on the highway.
So basically, you didn't know how to drive, is what you're saying then. In fact, is your driver's license even still valid? Or were you just driving around with an expired license? You know that means you could be arrested for what you did, don't you?
Wait, what? You think that I'm going to be arrested?
I mean, you were the one who was behind the wheel of the car. Who else would be liable? Dan and your husband were drinking, so they weren't going to drive, and the only sober person there was you. But you clearly don't know how to drive anymore, and you don't even have a valid license. You were driving, you caused the accident, it's your fault.
But that isn't fair. It's not like I forgot how to drive. But besides, it's not my fault that I can't get a new driver's license. It's those darn people at the DMV who refuse to renew it for me.
That's right, I had almost forgotten about that. I remember you mentioned that before Dan and I were even married. You mentioned how you told me that you would never be able to renew your license again. Not only did they think you were getting too old, but you had too many strikes on your last one.
But it isn't fair. They sent me to their stupid little driving school. I took all their classes and they still had the nerve to not give me a new one. Surely you must agree that this is horrible, right? I mean, who are they to tell me that I can't drive when I know that I can drive perfectly well? Am I really going to be arrested just for a little fender bender?
Fender bender? Rachel, you are literally in the hospital and unable to move because of the accident that you caused. Not only that, but you could have seriously injured your son and husband. How can you be so focused on yourself when all that might have happened?
Well, I guess that does make some sense when you put it that way.
And that's why I was telling you that I needed to be there to drive. But you had to act completely delusional. You locked me in the bathroom and then just drove off without me.
Please, Tina, there's no need for you to take this kind of tone with me. Don't you think I've already been through enough with all of this? You must know that I never ever wanted any of this to happen, right?
I don't care what your intentions were. Who even gets in a car thinking that they intend to cause a crash anyways? I'm not blaming your intentions. I am blaming the thinking that led up to it. You acted completely irrationally and got your family into a car accident. And that's not saying anything at all about how you locked me in a public bathroom and then just abandoned me.
But I just wanted to take a vacation with my family. Is that really so bad?
But you didn't even get to have that vacation. You all didn't even make it to the destination we were all supposed to be at by now. Why couldn't you have just waited until we all got there before you started trying to bully me? I understand that you didn't want to be around me and that you were worried that I was only going to annoy you, but surely being annoyed has got to be better than being injured. And to think that this is going to be the last real memory we have together before Dan and I cut you out of our lives entirely.
Wait a second, what are you talking about? Why would you and Dan cut me out of your lives?
I've already talked to Dan about it, Rachel. I told him all about the horrible things that you say to me. And now, with all that's happened for the vacation, he just can't tolerate you any longer. In fact, he was already going to talk about this with you before we even went on the trip, if you must know.
Hold on a second. Now that you mention it, Dan did say that he had something important he wanted to talk to me about. You're telling me that this is that. He wanted to tell me that he didn't want me around anymore?
That's right. And there's one more thing that you should know, Rachel. I'm pregnant.
Wait, what? You've got to be kidding me. Why am I just hearing about this now?
You're only hearing about it now because I know that letting you know any sooner wouldn't have been good for me or the baby. I mean, do you have any idea just how stressful it already is talking to you like this? I knew that if I told you I was pregnant, you would be trying to control my life. I talked to Dan about this and told him that I don't know how I was supposed to go through with this if you were going to be constantly breathing down my neck about every little thing. So we talked and said that the best thing to do would be to put physical distance between us all. So we're going to be moving away.
But this is all so much. I can't handle all of this news at once. How is this happening?
It's happening because we didn't want you to know a word of it, but now that we're about to cut you out of our lives anyways, it doesn't really matter. That, and you never even gave me a chance to speak about my life to you. You were always just interested in putting me down. But now you've gone and made a mistake that can't be undone. And in doing so, you've confirmed every fear about you that I've had. And you've shown your son and husband that you're nothing but a mean bully who doesn't deserve the loving family she has.
But wait, Tina, please. If you're pregnant, then this changes everything. I mean, can't we just pretend like nothing ever happened? We can just put all this behind us, can't we? Why didn't you ever tell me about this?
I literally just explained to you why I didn't tell you. Did you even read the messages that I was sending you? I told you that you were just going to try and interfere with our lives even more if you know that I was pregnant. Dan and I were going to use this as the chance to cut you out of our lives. That's why you didn't know about it until now.
But then you mean you're not even going to let me meet my own grandchild?
Well, it's going to be hard for you to meet them anyway, if you're behind bars for what you've done.
Please don't say things like that. You really can't think that they would throw an old lady like me in jail.
I'm sorry, but the law is the law. Do you really think that you're above just because of your age? Either way, you're not going to be our problem anymore. We want nothing to do with you ever again, and we are going to be cutting you out of our lives. Whether or not you get arrested after this, it really makes no difference to me at all.
Just wait, Tina. You can't be serious about this, right? I mean, you're really just going to abandon me during my time of need like this? Please, I had no idea that you were pregnant. That really would have changed everything. I promise that I'll change. I'll help you raise them well. You have to believe me.
We do not want you to have anything to do with our child at all, Rachel. That's the whole reason we're going to be moving as far away from you as we can. Just stay out of our lives and don't come looking for us. Do you understand?
So then you're really serious about all this? But I never even gave Dan permission to do this. You can't just leave me!
I'm afraid that we've already made up our minds and we're going to be moving out. That is final. Just remember that you're the one that's going to have to explain all this to your husband. You're going to have to tell him that you were so horrible to me that you pushed me and your son away to the point that we never want to see you again. In the end, Dan and I moved away. A few months later, we heard through the grapevine that Rachel was discharged and free to go back home, but that her husband was waiting for her there with divorce papers. She was in the hospital for so long recovering that you would have thought she learned some kind of lesson, but apparently it wasn't enough for her husband. Thankfully for her, the other driver in the crash was kind enough to not press any charges on Rachel, but she was still left all alone, without her husband, son, or grandchild. I have no idea how she's getting along now. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Amber, I told that old hag of yours to stay away from my wedding coming up soon. So can you make sure to tell her as well for me? Tell her that she will not be allowed into the wedding on the day of and that she needs to stay away from us so as not to cause any trouble.
What? When you say that old hag of mine, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about your mom being the old hag, and you should have known what I meant. Having her walk into my wedding all by herself with no partner walking beside her is just sad. So tell her to stay away. Simple as that. You are her daughter after all, so you should be fine with asking that of her for me.
Sandy? I'm sorry, but I have zero clue what you're talking about right now. Are you really telling me that you don't want my mom coming to my brother and your wedding?
I am telling you that. I shouldn't even have to be telling you this sort of stuff right now. You should already know that someone like her coming into my wedding would ruin the whole mood.
No, I don't know any good reason why her coming to your wedding would ruin the mood.
Why not? Being raised by a single mother is freaking embarrassing, right? And having her waltz into my wedding with nobody as her partner is so sad that I cannot allow it to happen when I'm about to show everyone my happiness. So tell her to stay away, please. Even your brother is embarrassed by her, so I'd like to keep her from coming in and ruining the whole wedding by making him and I beat red with anger and embarrassment. Just think about it with a level head, and you can see why I'm asking this from you.
Why are you saying things like that? I actually respect my mom a lot for having to raise her kids all on her own. And the way you're talking about her so cruelly right now is making me a bit upset, so please stop that. I feel bad for my mom right now hearing things like this about her from you.
What? Are you an idiot as well, then?
Excuse me?
You just have to put a little thought into it and you'd understand what I'm saying. If your mom comes to my wedding, she's going to ruin everybody's time. And if she begins to piss me off coming in as a single and depressing mother like that, then what do you think will happen to my wedding?
Well, stop trying to think that just by having my mom at your wedding, she'd ruin everyone's mood and end your wedding.
If she ends up coming in and giving the wedding a rotten atmosphere, your brother is going to be just as upset as I will be. Are you telling me that you want both me and your brother to be upset and embarrassed on our very special day?
Does this mean that my brother is 100% on board with having my mom stay away from the wedding?
Him and I are a married couple now. Anything I say about the two of us automatically makes him on board with it.
Well, if that's what you think, then fine. But I highly doubt that he'd be okay with what you're saying about our mom right now. Both he and I think highly of our mom and would never want to do anything to disrespect her.
You're the least helpful little sister. Well, whatever, I guess. We'll handle your mom on our own then.
And how are you going to handle my mom then?
Don't you dare go telling your brother anything about this, okay? And if you don't want our wedding to end up going up in flames, then you stay out of what happens next between us and your mom.
Well, now you're starting to get me worried about what you're planning on doing. I don't plan to say anything necessarily to my brother about this, but you're not going to do anything unwarranted to my mom, right?
We are getting very close to our long-awaited wedding and are both very nervous as well as excited for the day. So I ask you to please stay quiet about what I said. Allow your brother and I to have our moment in peace without getting in the way.
I still am a bit lost on what's all going on here with you, but I have no plans of getting in the way of your wedding. But can you make sure to talk all of this through with my brother as well before you ask to have my mom stay away from your wedding? Mom, have you gotten any messages from Sandy recently?
Well, she told me not to come to her wedding a little while ago.
So she actually did go ahead and tell you all of that straight then. I can't believe her. Well, you don't really have to worry about what she said to you, okay? I really do think that there's no way on earth that Kai would allow you to be told to stay away from his wedding with no good reasoning.
Well, I hope you're right.
Huh? Why do you say it like that?
Well, I'm just saying that what Sandy has said about Kai agreeing with her might be correct. I'm sure to him he has no real use for me anymore as his mother. And if anything, I'm just an embarrassment to him now.
Why are you saying all of that stuff about yourself and him? There's just no way that he'd think of you that way now.
Well, I heard all of this from Kai himself.
What? You heard this from Kai himself?
He told me that after what he's been told by Sandy, it's probably best that I really don't come to their wedding. And then after that, he ended our conversation by telling me to just not come. And ever since then, I haven't heard anything from him. No matter how many times I try to call and text him.
What the heck? What is wrong with Kai? Does he not see how rude he's being to you right now? I'll go and talk with him then.
Please stop trying to talk any sense into those two for me, okay?
Why should I stop trying, though? There has to be something going on between Kai and Sandy that we don't know about, because there is just no way he'd actually mean something as cruel as that. I bet you she's trying to brainwash him right now, and that his response to you wasn't his own.
And I'm sure that there's some reason for Kai telling me not to come.
But we can't go around trying to force ourselves into those two's decision. I will at least go out and try to help them prepare tomorrow, but if they really do not want me coming to the wedding or having anything to do with it, then I'm going to stop. It's my job as his mom to let him decide who comes and who doesn't come to his wedding.
All right, then. How about the both of us go tomorrow, then, to help them prepare? I want the both of us to hear the real reasoning behind their decision for having you stay away.
Hey, why did you and your mom come here? I thought I made myself very clear when I said that I didn't want your mom coming to my wedding. What the hell are you thinking coming into this place with your mom?
Well, I'm having a hard time believing that you actually had the nerve to tell my mom to stay away from this wedding.
Well, even if you've come here today, it's not going to help your guys' situation any. Huh, your brother and I didn't prepare a seat for your mom here.
Huh? You actually overlooked preparing a seat for my mom? For Kai's mom?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And why would I have? I told you that she wasn't allowed in here, yet she chose to come anyway with you.
Even if you're my brother's fiance, this is going way too far. Allow us to talk to him right now about all of this.
Right now, Kai is busy talking with other people at the moment and doesn't have time to waste with the two of you. That's the whole reason I'm being considerate of him and am giving up my time to handle his family ordeal. As I had said to you and your mom before, there is no seating for her. I'm going to have your mom kicked out of this wedding right now.
You are the worst, Sandy, saying things like that about my mom.
I'm in the right to be saying all of this about her. Having to be raised in a single-parent household is one of the most embarrassing things to happen to someone. And I don't want him to feel that embarrassment today. All your mom is doing by being here is causing problems, and I want her to go home.
Then the whole family is going to go home.
Huh?
I've had enough of this from you. My mom is done dealing with you, and so the two of us are going to do as you say and leave this wedding right now.
Huh? Hold on a second, Amber. Did I ever say that I want you going home from this wedding as well?
You don't have to say anything like that to me, because saying something like that to my amazing mom is enough to make me want to go. So if you still want her to leave this place, then I'm going to join her and see her home. And right now, we are talking with other members of the family about this as well as friends. Even my brother is saying that he's ready to go now after what you've said to my mom.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about when you say your brother says he will go home? Do you have any other brothers besides Kai that I've never been told about?
I do not. I only have one brother, and that would be Kai. And Kai is the one saying that he'll come home with us. The way you've been acting around us and speaking for him has been way too much for him to accept.
Now, you wait just a second. What are you actually saying right now? What? Are you telling me that you told Kai about all of this? That has to be a load of crap, right? I specifically told you to not tell him anything about this and that I'd handle things between us.
Well, I was finally able to talk with him in person, face to face. And when we started to talk to one another, I made sure to show him all the things you've been saying to our mom and I about not wanting her here.
Huh? You're showing our conversations to other people without asking for my permission first. What the hell happened to there being something called privacy in this world?
And what happened to the privacy that my brother deserves to have from you?
Huh?
You ended up taking his phone from him on multiple occasions and typing all sorts of replies to my mom using his phone, making her think that she was talking to him when it was really you. And in the end, you were the one that blocked her on his phone, right?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about right now, but... Huh.
Come on now, Sandy. This is not the time to be laughing about that. You have very much shocked my brother with the way you've acted.
And so what? Why the hell did you tell all of this to Kai now? I swear, I told you very clearly to not get in the way of your brother and my happiness, and that includes this wedding today.
You think I was actually going to listen to you after what you said to me about not wanting my mom at her son's wedding?
Huh?
The way you've been acting around everyone has been completely screwed up, and my brother needed to know about what you were doing. And right now, he's in complete shock over what you'd done.
Huh? What are you trying to say I did that would surprise him so much? What did you actually say to my man that would make him start to doubt me? Why, Amber? Why would you do all this useless crap on the most important day of Kai's in my life?
This is all happening because of how you played your cards, Sandy. You kept thinking that you had the right to talk horribly about my mom and say that she was causing the two of you embarrassment. But it's because of my mom that you were able to meet such an amazing man as Kai. Because she worked her butt off for us, making sure we turned out as good people. What the hell does it matter to you that we have no father? You have no right to talk about my family like you have been, Sandy. Even if you have a problem with her being a single mother, my brother and I are both so thankful that we were raised by someone as warm-hearted and thoughtful as her.
Who gives a crap about all of that? Right now, things are going downhill for me. If I'm not able to have this wedding with Kai today, what am I going to do? Where the hell has he run off to right now?
Do you even have the ability to listen to what I say to you? I said just a second ago that not only my mom and I, but also Kai have all given up on you and are done here.
What do you mean given up on me and are done here, though?
I'm saying that we cannot forgive you for the way you've talked to us and the way you've acted around Kai. And it seems that he feels the same way and doesn't want to deal with you as his partner anymore.
Hold on. I just heard that Kai is telling everyone here that the wedding is canceled and to pack things up to head home. That has to be a sick joke or something, right?
No, you know very well that he is not the kind of person to joke about something like that. Especially when he was so happy to get married today. If he's going around telling everyone that right now, then it's truly happening.
But him and I really did plan on having our wedding today, Amber.
I know that. And everyone else expected you both to have a wedding today as well. But if all your family and friends, as well as the groom, leave the wedding, then there's no way you can carry on with it, right? Unless you're going to have a one-man wedding today.
Why the hell would you say something like that now? How would I ever be able to have a wedding by myself? Why is all this happening to me now? This is all your fault, you jerk!
Huh? This is all my fault now? Why would any of this be because of me, Sandy?
I told you to stay out of all of this and not to get in the way of anything regarding my wedding with Kai today. But since you went ahead and opened your mouth to your brother about what's going on, this all happened. I never actually thought you'd be stupid enough to tell Kai about what I'd said and done.
Huh? You still have no clue what's going on here then?
What do I have no clue about, Amber?
The only thing everyone thought could never happen is the way you acted towards me and my family. You literally took my brother's phone from him without asking and blocked my mom's number on there so that she couldn't try and talk to him anymore. Is that something normal people do to their in-laws?
Well, when you say it like that, you make it seem like I have done something wrong.
That's because you have done something wrong. Plenty of things, actually. I myself am having a very hard time understanding why, after all that's happened, you're still having a hard time understanding why you've been in the wrong. Tell me, why have you done all of this to my mom and want to kick her out of the wedding?
Well, that's because I just don't want her to be here today, and so I want her gone.
Well, that's not giving us a clear reason, though. I want to know why you don't want her here and want her to go home. If your reason for all that is because she's a single mother, then maybe you shouldn't be marrying my brother in the first place. What kind of balls do you have to think that using that as a reason would be a good idea?
Well, listen, if your mom is single and can't find another man to marry, then in the future, Kai and I will have to take care of her when she's old and useless. And since he's the oldest, you won't have to worry about your mom, and all the responsibilities surrounding her will fall on us, right? So I've been trying my hardest to have the two of us cut ties with her sooner rather than later. I just assumed that by forcing her to not come to this wedding, that'd be enough to end things between us.
So your reason for all of this is due to your overbearing selfishness? Well, if that's it, then I guess there's no helping you now. You can talk the rest of this through with my brother.
Wait a second, Amber. If you don't stick around and help me, then my wedding is going to fall apart and I'll lose Kai. You and we're supposed to become sisters, right? Let's you and I grow close to one another and fix all of this. After what's happened to me today, I'll even forget about what I thought regarding your mom and allow her to come watch her son and I get married. And then after that, we can all become one big family, right?
After all you've done to us, you expect something like that to work out for you? No matter how you try and spin things now, we are never going to be your family.
Please do not say things like that right now. You're the only person that can help me right now in getting your brother to come back to me. Right. How about you go ahead and tell him to come back to me, and then after that we can forget any of this ever happened.
How about this, Sandy? How about you just forget about there ever being a chance of you becoming my brother's wife? And then we can end all of this right now. I'm so glad you went crazy just before the wedding, so that we could all see your true colors before the knot was really tied. If you and him really did get married today, then my family's future would have been in real danger. I'm really relieved to see that I won't become your sister-in-law after all. You must really be in a corner right now thinking we can all forget about what you've done. Especially after what you did to my mom.
You really don't have to say things like that right now, Amber.
I believe it was you that really didn't have to say all of the things you said to my family before, but you did anyway. So what happens to you next has nothing to do with me, okay? You can go right along and talk with my brother about that and see where you'll end up.
I'm not even able to get a response from your mom now. I wonder if I can get any of them to come back here. I'm sure if they just listened to my reasoning behind all of this, they'd understand me.
The only reason for all this was you trying to save yourself from having to care for my family in the future. Well, look at that. You won't have to worry about us anymore because none of us plan to talk with you anymore.
But your mom is supposed to be a really kind person, right? She would never say goodbye to me forever over a simple mess up like this, right?
Well, my mom's saying that she could never see you becoming a part of her family after what happened today.
She said that? That considerate mom would say something like that about me?
Well, weren't you the one that had planned on throwing her away the moment you married my brother? Oh well, I guess. Seems like you're going to be the one getting thrown away now after everyone came around to understand your true intentions. My sincere condolences, Sandy. Really sucks that you were never able to have your special day today. But you are like the devil, so there was no reason for you to have a special day in the first place. Good luck with the next man you plan on roping in. Hopefully he has both a mom and a dad that he was raised by, so you don't have to go through a day like today ever again. In the end, the wedding that had been planned for that day was canceled almost immediately. And of course, the legal marriage that Sandy and Kai had with one another ended up going up in flames. And because of the embarrassment they were forced to endure regarding this event, both of Sandy's parents ended up leaving her to fend for herself and would later cut ties with her. Sandy was then left to pay all the cancellation fees for the wedding, as well as a settlement for what she'd done to Kai's mom. But because she didn't have the money for all of that, she tried to get Amber's help again. However, this time, Amber wasn't going to have any more of Sandy and blocked her within seconds, so that she'd never have to hear or see a word from her again. It really seems fair that after all Sandy had done to Kai's mother and sister, she'd end up with no wedding, no husband, and no parents. She did say she went through all that in order to not have to deal with a single mother-in-law in the future, but nobody's even sure if that was the true reasoning or if this was all done due to Sandy just being a crazy woman.